Before the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution Series race car was even a thing, there was another car that took the Mitsubishi Lancer's Evolution Series to the very beginnings, and that was this, the 1992 Galant Monte Carlo. Today we are diving into the history of the original Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution race car. So let's talk Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution history. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution series dated all the way back in the 1980s and early 1992 with this thing, the Mitsubishi Galant Monte Carlo or the Galant VR4. With starters, many people ask themselves, why was this the original Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution race car? Well, because in the 1980s, Mitsubishi didn't even produce the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution series yet because they started off in the early 1990s. However, since the 1980s and 1990s, there was this, the Mitsubishi Galant Monte Carlo or the Galant VR4. Starting off with a little background with the Galant is that the Mitsubishi Galant was also like the Mitsubishi Lancer. Both of these cars were used as sedans, but they were also having built race car versions of themselves, such as the Monte Carlo with the new Mitsubishi Galant VR4 between 1992 and the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo starting off in 1990. So the differences between these two cars is that both of them ran the very same engine, a 2.0 naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, also known as the 4G63 power plant, a power plant known for its 202 horsepower all-wheel drive configuration, 5-speed manual transmission, and that's about it. You see, the next special thing about the Galant Monte Carlo is that the Mitsubishi Galant Monte Carlo also included an intercoolant spray. Most people don't understand this. What exactly does that device actually do? Well, the intercoolant spray actually cools off the turbo turbines that were actually inside of these cars, such as most of these cars were meant for the racetracks and rally stages, like the Subaru Impreza and the Subaru Legacy were all race cars, and in order to cool the turbo down, you basically have to use the intercoolant spray that actually sprays coolant into the turbo intake, and then it cools off before the turbo was even set back on. Because of this, racing a rally stage sleeper like this actually needs a turbo cooler to spray the turbines, so that way the engine could last longer when you're driving just about 100 horsepowers directly on a dirt racetrack and a race course. The main detail about the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo is that why do some people say that this was the first Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution? Well, many people predicted that the Galant Monte Carlo was the pre-Evo, which stands for a predecessor to the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution race car, because the Evolution Lancer came as the successor to this car. The first original Mitsubishi Lancer Evo was not really a Lancer, it was this, a Lancer style twin brother, which is the Galant Monte Carlo or the VR4. What I love about the Mitsubishi Galant VR4 is that there is actually a similar version to this car, and it was basically just about a 2.0 liter 4-cylinder power plant that only made about 165 horsepower stock. And in fact, that 1992 Galant was actually not the VR4 or the Monte Carlo race car at all. It's just a basic Mitsubishi Galant. And what did automotive fans actually notice is that both the Galant VR4 and Mitsubishi Lancer Evo were based on just a regular road car, which is actually road legal because you can actually take these things out on the road because they basically share the same body styling and parts that of their civilian counterparts, which only had used stock engines. But these cars, they use 2.0 four cylinders that are naturally aspirated. But what most people don't understand is, why are these cars sometimes turboed if they were not meant to be turboed, if they were naturally aspirated? Well, the thing is, these cars were actually equipped with turbochargers inside of their engines. Because of the cars being naturally aspirated, most of these cars were naturally aspirated, but they also came with a turbocharged package depending on which market would actually sell you for these things. And buying a Mitsubishi Galant Monte Carlo feels like a dream because most families of the era buy these things just for daily driving, and weekends they would take their kids out on a racetrack just to prove that these things were not just a normal road-based car. These things were built as race cars, literally. The whole basis of the Mitsubishi Galant Monte Carlo is the Group B series or the Group A series. Although most people never understood why the Mitsubishi Galant VR4 Monte Carlo would be used as a full name, but most people famously call the Galant as the Mitsubishi Galant VR4 MC series. Have you ever heard of the MC series before? That is actually the cross name of Monte Carlo, which is this car that was based off. And because of the Galant Monte Carlo, this car was famous just about a few decades ago, 25 years before it was sold to the US. What most people really understand about the Galant Monte Carlo is that although it is based on a normal based road car, the Mitsubishi Galant Monte Carlo actually was a little bit more different. How different? Well, its 2.0 naturally aspirated four-cylinder power plant actually is a turbocharged version of a regular naturally aspirated vehicle. But from what I can obviously tell you this is that most of these cars were rare to find because they would only sell half of these things around the markets and then discontinue them entirely until the next new car becomes something else. So, before the beginnings of the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution, we are looking at the family history of the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution race car. And that evolutionary series came out before the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo was born. So that means this car was born before the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo was even born. That's right, we're looking at the very first car that was named Mitsubishi Evolution, and that Evolution series originally came from the Mitsubishi Galant MC, or Monte Carlo for short. Ever since the debut of this car, many people now understand what its history came from, or what it was from. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution got its name from the pre-Evo, which is this car, the Mitsubishi Galant Monte Carlo VR4. However, most people thought the name was a bit too long, so they decided to cut the name short and just write the name VR4 to make it more recognizable, because VR4 is more simple to understand than just saying Galant VR4 Monte Carlo, which sounds pretty much convincing because Mini Cooper also ran the Monte Carlo racing series at that time before this car was even born. The Mitsubishi Galant Monte Carlo is absolutely special, not just because of its looks, but the way how it is designed. It is so unique that many people still call it the original Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution before the Lancer Evolution was even a name itself. And that is the story of the Mitsubishi Galant Monte Carlo, aka the VR4 Galant.